Alrighty, welcome back to High on the Hog. I'm your host, Sawyer Dillinger, alongside my father, co-host John Dillinger. And I gotta say, we're excited to be back, and at least I'm very excited for this game. I think this is going to be a really good game. It has been for us historically, and I'm ready to go into Stillwater and play some Razorback football.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the game as well. Um, it's an early morning game, which nobody really cares for, but it's usually good for the visiting team.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get to catch them before their crowd is too pumped up. Hopefully we'll catch them asleep and be able to make a good game of it.
Yeah, like I said, historically, this game's been pretty good to Arkansas. We lead the series 30-15 with only one tie. Um, and the first game we ever played was in 1912, and we haven't played them since 1980. The longest winning streak is Arkansas. They had 10 games played, which would have been for 10 games. It was like between, I think it was in the 50s. I think 52 to like 62 or something like that. But we had a 10-game winning streak there. Um, I seen something where we haven't played them in Fayetteville since like 1940 something. We play them in Little Rock every single time we play them, which was I thought was weird. But again, we did use that stadium a lot, so it made sense. It's been played all around each state. It's been played in Fort Smith, Little Rock, Fayetteville, and then Oklahoma City and Stillwater. So it's a pretty neat game.
Yeah, I didn't realize that Oklahoma State and Arkansas used to have a rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
With them, it makes sense because regionally they're 2.5
Yeah,
hours away
right
from
on
one
top.
another. So it definitely makes sense. But with them being a Big Eight team, we were a Southwest
Yeah,
Conference team. I didn't realize that we had played. Was it 45 times? Is that what you said?
we won 30, they won 15,
Yeah. So
so
so 40.
46 with the tie.
Oh, there was a tie.
Yeah,
So 46
46.
times. That's quite a bit. Probably we were playing them more than we were playing a lot of our SEC
Yeah,
regional teams. Like
yeah,
I think that's more than maybe LSU, or maybe around the same. But
yeah.
anyways, I didn't realize we had played Oklahoma
Yeah,
State that much.
we played them a bunch, and matter of fact, we played them every year from 1952, with the exception of I think 2 years from 1950 to 1980.
Yeah,
We
it
played them
stopped in 80,
every
right?
we played every single year. So it was a yearly game and a very good one. The scores were always pretty close. There's blowouts on both sides. Oklahoma had the biggest blowout, 46
So
nothing.
what stopped the rivalry? I didn't really do a lot of research into the rivalry. Do you know why they stopped the series?
I'm not sure if I mean 1980. I assume probably it would have been conference changes, maybe. I mean, we were getting 1992s when we went to Southeastern, and I'm not sure when the Big 12 turned into that, but I'd assume it was something to do with conferences, maybe, but I'm not exactly sure on that.
Yeah, the Big Eight became the Big 12 around the same time that the SEC expanded and took us and who all come in with us? Just us in
With
South Carolina.
Yeah, it was us in South Carolina, and then A&M in Missouri came in like
I
20.
think that all happened around the same time. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I know we kind of. So let me think. So it became the Big 12. The because the Southwestern Conference imploded basically,
yeah, that makes
and
sense.
that was us that caused
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But we jumped ship to the SEC.
Thank
And I'll
God.
be honest with you, I'm one of the few old hats that I kind of wish we would have got in the Big 12 and dominated it, alongside Texas and Oklahoma. But
Yeah.
I understand the money is in the
I
SEC.
was gonna say I understand that position because we would have been a much more competitive team. I think we probably would have had more, if not national championships, we would have had conference
Oh, we had
championships
several,
up the wazoo. So I understand that point, but the SEC is where the money is, and so I'm glad we are in the SEC. And
Yeah,
it's not been good on
we're
us.
gonna go up there and win it.
That's what I really do. I
I
think we
don't know
have
if
a
they'll
really
be
good
this year,
chance, but
but if I think if we keep this coaching staff in place,
we're going to be
maybe next year.
we're going to be really
So
good.
we'll
Yeah,
see.
if we can keep Travis Williams and Bobby Petrino, and I want to keep Pittman, but if we can at least keep those
Pittman
two,
needs to get more credit. There's a lot of
very good.
coaches on a lot of either message boards or, I'm a member of several Facebook hog, groups, and
Mm-hmm.
I just can't stand to see people are like, make just a silly comment like it's time to put Sam Pittman in his natural position as offensive line coach and move Bobby Petrino up to head coach. That is not going to happen. If you're Sam Pittman, you're not stepping down to be the offensive line coach and let somebody take your job.
No.
Pittman hired Petrino. He put this staff together. He's the head hog. And as much as I love Bobby Petrino, and I'm a huge Bobby Petrino fan,
Huge.
but Sam's the man.
I'm just as big of a Pittman fan because, I mean, if you're not a Hog fan watching this, you don't understand the Chad Morris era. I mean, like, it makes me want to cry thinking about going 2-10 2 years in a row.
Yeah, the end of the Burt era wasn't much better.
No, I mean, no, but yeah, I mean, we went from Billima to, was it straight into Chad Morris, or was there some? Okay, yeah, we went from one bad coach to another, and it really ruined our program. And Pittman came back and put his first year.
Bielema wasn't a bad coach. Bielema just got lazy on the job, and
he had good number of years.
He was. The reports were he was hanging out on Dixon Street late in the night.
Yeah.
Was, so I can't confirm any of that stuff, but he definitely was not, performing at the earlier, because he had some good teams the first couple years.
Yeah. But yeah, going in from those losses to Chad Morris losses, Pittman, even though his first year back was like what 3 and I guess that would have been 9.
Yeah, that was the weird year, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well,
or was
that was the year before, I think.
Anyway,
I'm not sure. Either way, but the 3 and 9, but it was 4 and 8 because Auburn absolutely some bull crap there. But either way, he came back, and it wasn't just the wins; it was the pride he gave us, and we wanted to watch the Razorbacks again. And I mean, got to give credit to Pittman. That was all him. And I look at him more of a CEO than I do a head coach, because
that's the way he coaches.
That's the way he is a head coach. You've got your Nick Sabans, who are the defensive coach. I mean, Nick Saban was a defensive coach at Alabama. He had the best defense every single year, and Lane Kiffin is the offensive coach. Pittman's not either. He's just a really good coach that can bring in really good offensive coaches and really good defensive coaches, and he lets them run the team.
Do their jobs.
Yeah, and I'm all for that. But I'm excited to be an Arkansas fan this year. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think we're going to have a really good season. But let's get into this Oklahoma State game. Just going off of last week alone, I'll do that and let you talk some, because I'm hogging all the mic time right now. But offensively, Arkansas beat their last opponent, Pine Bluff, 70-0, as we all know. Arkansas had 10 touchdowns, 687 all-purpose yards, 279 was rushing, 408 was passing. We had 1 fumble, no interceptions, and 6 penalties. So
it wasn't a fumble for a loss, though.
No, it was just a fumble, but zero turnovers, but still. The 6 penalties is what I don't want to say I'm worried about it, because that's something you can clean up, but that doesn't look very good, especially against
that's not bad for a first game.
Well, what made me worried about it is that's 6 times more than Oklahoma State had. So offensively,
had no penalties?
They had 1. They had 1. Oklahoma State, they played North Dakota State? South Dakota State. Okay, they played Dakota State 44-20, and they had 5 touchdowns, 394 all-purpose yards, 245 passing, 149 rushing, no fumbles, no interceptions, and they only had 1 penalty.
And that was the defending FCS champions too, wasn't it?
Yes. So, I mean, to not have any penalties but 1 penalty, that's pretty impressive, because, I mean, we had 6 against either the worst or the second worst rated team in the FCS. So,
when I look at last week's games comparatively between both teams, what I like, and I've seen, again, some crazy fans talk about beating this team, and, fans saying things like it's disgraceful to put that many points up against them. And I mean, we number one, we played 10-minute quarters in the second half.
Yeah.
Number two, we played our second string players and our third string players. And if we got fourth string
and then
players,
some fourth
it
string,
looked like
I think.
some of them played. You can't just get the ball in the third quarter
Yeah,
and take
and
a knee.
knee it
That's
down.
crazy.
Yeah.
And you can't look at your third string running back and go, now don't try to score here.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, that's their time.
third string quarter, KJ Jackson, don't try to complete any passes. We
Yeah.
don't want to run the score up. You put them guys in
To see what they can do.
and it's their job to, and they're going against the ones of the other team.
Exactly. Yeah. Ones and twos.
Bobby Bowden used to say this: "It ain't my job to stop my team. It's
My
your
favorite. That's
job."
my favorite quote from a football
So,
coach.
That's crazy. Yeah, we beat our lower division team worse than they. We were playing a worse one. We played
Absolutely,
a
yeah.
bad one. They played the champ.
They played the
So-
best. It was Toke
so,
Streams.
Of course, it should have. Their score is, I think, reflective of what it should have been. They handled their business. The thing that sticks out to me that I liked, though, was we got a lot more reps in with our twos and threes than they did. For instance, Oklahoma State, we played three quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they only played one. I think
Yeah, Alan
because
Bowman.
the game was not a
Yeah,
blowout. He had
it
to
was
stay in.
close up until the third quarter too. So I think Dakota had the advantage at one point. I think they were up. I could be wrong about that, but
Okay. I don't know.
It was close, I know
I was
that.
kind of checking in on the score and watching it a little bit here and there, but I didn't watch the whole game. But we got, they did have five players that rushed the ball. Another thing that I liked in the matchup is, they have a great running back is his name Ollie Gordon the second or the third?
It's the
something
second. I confirmed that because I kept calling him the third.
like that? Okay, so Ollie Gordon the second. He's on the Doak Walker watch list.
He's rated the
Probably
number.
Heisman watch list.
He's rated the number one running back in the country by ESPN.
He's very good,
Yes.
but he rushed for 126 yards on 28 attempts
Yeah.
against an FCS defensive line. So I like that. It's not that I think we're going to be able to just shut him down.
No.
He may have more rushing yards against us.
They'll have to feed him a lot against us because we have a really good secondary. I think.
I don't know if he'll get 28 carries. He may. I don't really know how they set up. I know they like to, suck you in with him. All right. I know they like to, kind of suck the defense in, handing him the ball, and then go over the top and try to stretch the field. Mike Gundy he's an offensive guy. He's a good coach. He's been
Sorry, guys.
he's been there a long time, and that's kind of the way he likes to do it. He likes a balanced attack, run the ball, run, throw, and then he may do a serious throw, run, and
Yeah.
so they like to mix it up. But I like our matchup here.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, me as well. There's a lot. It's in every single fan base. You're gonna have your fans that are, either willingly stupid or just trying to get a reaction out of somebody. And I've seen a lot of
I think
Arkansas
that's a lot
fans
of them
doing
are
it.
just really stupid.
I mean, we live in Arkansas. It's very possible, but
I love Arkansas.
I do too.
It's a good state.
Best state in the country, but yeah, I've seen a lot of just stupid comments like we're gonna blow them out. You should have seen
that's
what we
crazy.
did 70-0. 70-0 is impressive, but we did it against. I mean, let's be real, the worst, one of the
I've
worst
seen
teams
more
in
the other
FCS.
way than I have. I haven't seen a whole lot of
Yeah,
that.
I've seen a bunch. Well,
Fortunately,
I'm in. I mean, every Razorback group. I go and watch all of the conferences on YouTube. I watch all the conferences of the teams we play. I have a problem, and so I see all the comments. And there's Not as much, obviously, but there's a bit of them. Enough to say y'all need to chill out. Oklahoma State's a really good football team. They're a top 25. This is going to be a good
Number
matchup.
16 team in the nation.
Yeah, I mean they're going to be. It's going to be a dogfight. I mean Sam Pittman, he said it's going to be a slobber knocker.
Of course, I don't know if you can really go by AP polls and things this early in the season. I wish they wouldn't even put them out until about the 5th week.
Yeah,
It shows you with, most of the time, if you are a name school, you're going to get put in the top 25. Prime example, Florida State.
mm-hmm.
They shouldn't have been in the top 25. They ended the season showing you how bad they were, getting absolutely destroyed.
What was
by
that
Georgia.
score? Was it like 66 to nothing?
3 or
Yeah.
something. It was crazy.
Yeah,
And then they get beat. They're enter the season ranked top 10. They get beat by Georgia Tech, and they don't move in the polls.
yeah.
They stay at 10.
And then they lose to Boston
and then
College.
They lose to Boston College, and they're fixing to lose again this week. Memphis, I think, is going to beat them.
I think Memphis is a really good school.
So,
Yeah, you can't go off the AP polls this
right.
early.
But I think Oklahoma State is a top 25 team.
Yes, they're a good team.
Probably ranked about right, about where they need to be. So.
Yeah. Last year Oklahoma State was 10-4. So I mean that's a good record. They
Good
play in the
season.
Big 12. You know, it's obviously it's an easier conference,
Not
but
like playing in the SEC.
yeah, but it's 10-4 is not easy to do. I don't care what conference you're in, unless you're Clemson in the ACC where there's no teams in it. But other than that, so yeah, last year I noted their losses because I mean I don't want to talk down on Oklahoma State. They're a good team. They've got I like Mike Gundy. That's a grown man. So, but
He's 50.
he's 50. He's a grown man. But I like their team. But I did see the teams that they lost to because I wanted to see because in the Big 12 I was interested. And it kind of got me a little more excited to watch this football game because it's a win-win for not a win-win, excuse me. It's a good win for either side. If Oklahoma State beats Arkansas, we're going to win some more games this season. And so it'll be good on the record. We're going to beat a top 25 team in my opinion. So I think it's going to be good for us. They're the losses that I noted, they lost to the Southern Belt Conference team South Alabama. You want to take a guess at what that score was?
I mean, surely it wasn't like 40-20 or something crazy like that.
No, it was 7-33.
Ooh, so they got blown out.
Yeah, they got blown out
Was
by
that at their stadium?
I would assume
Surely, I mean,
yeah,
I
they're not
doubt
going to
they
they're not going to go to South Alabama.
South Alabama.
So they lost to South Alabama 7-33. They lost to Big 12 opponent Kansas State 21-29. They lost to the University of Central Florida 3-45.
That's not good.
That's not good. Which UCF's a good school, but I mean you didn't score a touchdown against them. And then they lost to Texas 21-49. But I mean,
That's terrible.
yeah,
Terrible school.
yeah,
Terrible coach.
not good.
Terrible
Players are
fan
bad.
base,
They've got one good player, and they
Terrible
don't even
cheerleaders.
start him. I mean, I don't know, but
terrible mascot.
it's so dumb. It's ugly too. It's just, I mean, it's horns.
His name's Bevo.
That sounds like an old, just nasty looking man to me. Bevo, unless your name's Bevo and you're watching the channel, I'm glad you're here and that's a good name. But yeah, so
That's a good name.
that's a really good name. But yeah, so it got me a little excited to see those scores. To be honest with you.
All right.
You got anything? You got anything to add on to that? All right. So in my opinion, it's going to depend on Arkansas's ability to keep up with Oklahoma State's positions. I mean, put it blankly, they've held superior positions at both the 7th-year senior quarterback, Alan
That's
Bowman.
crazy.
Yeah.
Third team he's been with.
Yeah. Third
He's
team.
been around.
Yeah.
He's like the girl at prom that dances with 6 different guys.
Yeah. He's been around the block, but this is his third.
He's a full-grown man. He's
Yeah.
30.
He's actually 24 as a 7th-year senior, which, I mean, I don't know how old you had to be, but it sounds like he's at
does he
17 when he
have
got here.
The Mike Gundy mullet.
I've not seen him. I think he's a ginger. That could be a lie. I think I played college football and I seen that he had red hair, so I'm not scared of him. But
Off of NCAA
yeah,
football.
yeah. But 7th-year senior quarterback Alan Bowman. He's a good quarterback, and he's been here. He's a veteran. He's been here 7 years, so you could say superior position there. And then number 1 quarterback or running back in the country, Ollie Gordon the second. If we can match their play with Taylon Green and Jaquindon Jackson, I think we've got a really great chance. If we can match their positions there, I think it's going to be a win for sure.
So when I look at these two teams, do you want to go ahead and kind of break down what we think is going to happen this week? We ready to do that yet? There's some more stuff to lead into that.
These are just stats, so yeah, we can go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I look at these two teams, and starting up top, head coach versus head coach, I would give Mike Gundy the edge there. He's been, he's been at that team for 20-something years.
I think it's his 20th.
He's got a good pedigree. He comes out of the Bob Stoots coaching tree. So being there that long, I heard somebody say, I guess at Oklahoma State, they don't care if you can beat your rival or not because
No, he's not.
he has a horrible
Oklahoma.
record against Oklahoma. But as long as you beat Texas every once in a while and beat some the rest of the guys, they'll keep him forever. And honestly, no, he was a hot name 10 years ago, but he don't come up for head coaching jobs anymore. And it may just simply be because he's turned down several, and folks know he'd stay there. So, but I'd give the edge there to Gundy. The rest of the coaching staff, I like our staff. I'll be honest with you. I don't know the OSU staff like I know the Arkansas staff, but I would put our staff, especially coordinators, but even I really like some of our position coaches. I'd put them up against any in the league. I don't know that they would be better than Georgia's or a couple other schools, but I'd put them up against them.
Yeah,
and
I really like
Georgia.
them.
I don't think, and even in Georgia's case, I kind of like our offensive coordinator a little better.
No doubt about
I
it.
think he's the best in the country.
Yeah, I do too.
Then looking at the offensive side of the ball, quarterback play, just go starter for starter. You'd probably lean a little bit towards Oklahoma State, just in the sense that he is so much more experienced than Taylon Green. I like Taylon Green's mobility better. This guy may be a little more accurate of a passer.
Yeah, he's a pocket passer.
It's still early in the season to really know that. So I'm going to give the edge there. Now, hopefully backups ain't going to have to play. The only way backups are playing is if the score gets out of hand or if somebody gets hurt. We don't want to see this,
either of those, unless it's for us.
Yeah, unless the score's out of hand and we're putting in Malachi Single.
Yeah, throw KJ in the third quarter.
So there. Now, running back position, I'm going to give the edge to Arkansas. I know their one versus our one, they would win, but I think we've got 4 ones.
I can see that for sure.
And we're going to have constant fresh legs.
That is true.
Ollie Gordon is going to be worn down going against our defense. So I'm giving us the edge there. Tight ends, edge Arkansas. Wide receivers, Oklahoma State has got some talented wide receivers. I'm going to give them the edge there, even though I think really it's probably a push. And I'm not going to go through every defensive position. I'm going to say this. I like our defense. I think our defense is going to be the key to winning this game.
Yes, they're going to be the game winners, I think.
If we can play sound football, not turn over the ball, and score. I think if we can score, I think it's probably going to be like a 35-point offensive performance for us. I think if we do that, I think our defense can hold them to 28 maybe, somewhere in there. So I'm going to say Arkansas is going to win 35-28.
35-28. That's a fair assessment. I never think about the backups. That backups are going to play. You can't play your starter for 4 quarters. He's going to be tired. So I didn't even really think about that. But yeah, I love our running back room. If you want me to be completely honest, I think we have the best depth at running back, if or at least top 5 in the country. I really do. I mean, Rodney Hill is he's like we have them at different. Um, they each have their own leverage on one another. Rodney Hill is super quick and super elusive. Braylon Russell will run right through you. Rashad Dubinion's going to run straight through you. Jaquindon Jackson, he's both. I mean, he put it.
He wants to run
Yeah,
through you, but
he
if he needs to,
he'll jump around you and make you jump and block your own defender. So yeah, I really like our running back group. Jaquindon Jackson leading the charge there. Some stats between the two games was it's gonna be all dependent on Arkansas's ability to defend the Oklahoma State running back because they're gonna feed him the ball a lot. I think Taylon Green was 16 for 23, 229 yards and 2 touchdowns. Alan Bowman was 24 for 33, 245 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he threw 10 more passes and he only got not even 20 yards more. Same amount of touchdowns. Jaquindon Jackson had 8 carries for 101 yards and 2 touchdowns. Ollie Gordon had 28 carries for 126 yards and 3 touchdowns.
So, JJ, he was averaged 14 and a half yards per carry, where their guy was 4.5 yards per carry.
And again, it's 2 different caliber of opponents, but that's just something to know. I think that is, because Jaquindon Jackson didn't play as much as Ollie Gordon II did. Ollie Gordon probably, I don't know this, but looking at the score, I assume he played most of that game. And Jaquindon Jackson left the second quarter, if not during the second quarter.
Yeah. He played the whole game. He was the only rusher with even close to double-digit carries. The next guy on the team was Cesai Valhali with 5 carries.
Yeah, okay. So,
4 yards.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you had a guy with 1 carry, a guy with 3 carries, and a guy with 2 carries.
Yeah, so... it's 2 different calibers of defenses, but it's also 2 different two stats that are similar in yards, but not in attempts. So I mean, we had a lot less attempts, in my opinion, or not even my opinion, but had a lot less attempts and pretty close to the same yards, and a lot less time played. So that puts a smile on my face. Defensively, I'm bad about not reading defensive stats because it's so repetitive to me, but I'm gonna have to get better at that. I do know defensively, obviously Arkansas held UAPB to no touchdowns, and they only put up 130 yards, whereas Oklahoma State let up 388 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Well, defensively is where Oklahoma State did get a lot of players on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we had 21 players that recorded defensive stats, I believe. They had 19. So they were deep there. Again, the majority of the tackles, though, come from 2 guys, Trey Rucker and Nick Martin. They had 15 and 10 respectively. And then next to that was 3. So,
yeah.
Those probably they're 2 linebackers if I was guessing. And we spread it around much more evenly. But again, it's hard to know if that's going to translate. I doubt we're going to play anywhere near that many players, but we will. We have depth at linebacker. We've got some depth in our cornerbacks. We've got depth on the defensive line, so our defensive guys should be able to stay fresh.
Yeah,
that's going to wear the OSU offense down, especially in the second half. Especially when you get up into the mid-20 carries on Gordon, and hopefully we can force a late fumble, something like that, something that's going to give us the edge, get us that extra possession that it's going to take to win this game.
Yeah, I'm hopeful. I really do think we're going to win. You said 35-28.
That's my prediction.
That's a pretty good prediction. I'm gonna throw one out there. I'm trying to think because I didn't see how much. I know that they had an interception in the game and we didn't have any turnovers. Like they caught an interception defensively. Uh, I think it's going to be a decent scoring game like that. I'm gonna say 38 to 24. I think we're gonna be. I love our defense. I really
That would
do.
be something.
Yeah.
That ball game's 38-24. I think we're in for a
Really good
good
season.
start to the season
Yeah.
for sure.
But yeah, I love our defense. I love our defensive coaches. I love our offense, our offensive coaches. Like you said, I'd put them up with anybody. I mean, there's definitely probably somebody I would take over them, but I couldn't think of them. I mean, off the top of my head, I don't want to get rid of our coaches. I hope we keep them for as long as we can pay them before a big name school tries to take them. So I'm excited. T. Will gets me excited. He's young. He loves that defense group. He's real with them.
Spitting
And
rhymes.
so, oh yeah, hot rhymes too. He ain't no flip flop. He's got it.
I don't know what that means, but he can rap.
Yeah, he's got the freestyle. So, one last thing to note on the history of this, Arkansas, we tie the games in Stillwater 4-4. So they don't have an edge at home really if you look at the number there. And Arkansas holds a 5-game winning streak going into this game. So
I'm hoping, with it being that close, I'm hoping there's a lot of Razorback fans
especially early in the
in
morning.
the stadium. Hopefully we travel well. We bought all the tickets that were allotted, and then even got on StubHub or whatever and got some more tickets.
Some more
I'm hoping
theirs.
we got a good, showing of fans there to. Man, you start calling the hogs in an opposing
Yeah,
stadium.
it's going
that's-
to get your team riled up and ready to.
Get you scared.
Oh yeah, this is a game I would have liked to gone to had we had the time and knew if we were going to be good or not. But I mean
ye of
Stillwater,
little faith.
Stillwater's it's
Jesus
close. Like I said, historic or a storied rivalry there, I guess you'd call it. And so, yeah, I think we will travel well. I think it'll probably be a 75% majority for them, but I think we're going to travel at least 25% of that stadium.
What does their stadium hold? Do you know?
55,000.
So it's a single bowl, or is it a horseshoe, or what is it?
It's a almost full bow on one end. It's like ours on one end zone. It's not enclosed. It's open on both sides. But yeah, it's going to get loud.
55,000. They probably allotted somewhere in the neighborhood of 8,000 tickets. If we bought 10, that'd be 20%.
Yeah. Okay, so not
Right around what
25%.
you
But
somewhere near what you said.
yeah. But I think this is going to be a good game, guys. I think if you're a Hog fan, I know no one picked us to win, but I would say be optimistic.
I will say this: I was watching some Oklahoma State pundits talk, and they glossed over this game. I mean, like we don't even. I mean, one of the guys literally said that Oklahoma State should desperately out talent Arkansas, and that the
Wow.
game shouldn't be close.
Wow.
And they talked about the game for 2 or 3 minutes, and then went on starting to talk about whoever they're playing next.
Seriously?
Now, I went in and commented on there. I said, I think some of you guys in Stillwell are going to be in for a rude awakening
Yeah.
Saturday morning.
Be ready for the upset. I'm excited about it. I think this game's going to get us ranked. If
Win or lose, they're going to know that they run into a band of wild hogs.
No doubt about it. I'm excited for this game. The only one I've seen talk about it, I want to say his name was Alan something. He's the Locked On podcaster for Oklahoma State, and he was high on us. He said he's excited for the game. He could see it going any other way. So shout out to you, but I got to find that video and leave my opinions on his channel as
I'll
well.
send you the link.
But yeah, guys, you got anything else for him?
Just subscribe to the channel.
Yes, if you're new to the
Share it on
channel
your
or if
stuff.
you're not new to the channel, subscribe. Make sure you're subscribed. Comment down below. You know,
I'm the
if
third Hodge twin, if you hadn't figured this out yet.
comment down below what you'd like to see us review hog wise or SEC wise. I think we can get into some other SEC teams, not as in depth as 35 minutes on a single game that we haven't even played yet.
I'd love to tell you why your team is junk.
I'm being serious. I really do want to film at least not an in depth, but go down the list of SEC teams. I think we should do it. Which we're a little late, but we can get in there before they all start playing their games. Because I would love to tell.
Nothing wrong with a mid-season, kind of look at the teams to tell you actually what they are instead of just guessing at what they're going to be like everybody else did.
Yeah, I'd love to tell Florida why they suck, and love to tell Kentucky why they're not going to get out of the Vanderbilt conversation and teams like that. But now, on a serious note,
Vanderbilt, man, Vanderbilt,
they beat the Virginia Tech, and Josh Pate had them top 10.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Do you see South Carolina got beat by like Old Dominion or somebody like that?
Wow, Shane Beamer's fisting to.
They wanting him gone.
Yeah, Beamer's fisting to get in a Beamer and get straight out of. I don't even know what time they play in.
SEC didn't fare good this weekend.
No, Florida lost their game. I think did they not?
LSU loses to Notre
Dame. Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah.
Brian Kelly getting
beat by his
old
former
team.
college.
Texas A&M got beat by USC. That's embarrassing.
USC sucks. No doubt about it.
They're at Kyle Field, home of the 12th man.
Yeah.
Where
you at? Where you at, 12th man?
What they call it, it's supposed to be the biggest home field advantage in college football.
Yeah, number 1 or something.
USC flies all the way across the country over here, jet lagged, and come in your house and kick your teeth in.
And I'll say this about Kyle Field because I think that's funny. I mean, they're ranked. If they're not 1, they're in the top 5, at least on EA's college football game of toughest places to play. And I agree with that. I think they're a top 5 toughest place to play. But I think it's just for Texas A&M because they get beat in that stadium almost every time they play there. So I mean, I think they got it right. I just don't think that they took in the fact that the stadium pulse in that game, when you play, I don't know if you know this, but when you play on that, if you go to one of the top 25 toughest places to play, there's a meter of the stadium rowdiness, and it messes with your plays. You can't see where your routes are. I think it should do that, but I think it should do it for Texas A&M because they can't do. It seems like they can't win in their stadium. But
Arkansas has not been great at Fayetteville lately, so I got no comment on that.
Yeah, well, but we're not in the top, I don't think, 50 toughest places to play, and we don't act like we are because it's hard for us too. So I understand your pain, Texas A&M fans. I just wanted to, it's a rivalry. I wanted to take a jab at y'all, but we really appreciate you guys joining in. Be ready for Saturday night or Sunday, one of the two. We'll have that podcast of the Sit and Spit post-game reaction.
The Wander and Ponder.
The Wander and Ponder Sit and Spit, but we'll have that, guys. We'll have that ready for you. And but yeah, comment what you'd like to see, like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and look, God bless and go Hogs.
Jesus saves.
Woo pig.